Oh hey, welcome to my 30-day sketchbook challenge. We're going to see if we can improve my sketchbook and YouTube skills in 30 days. So, continuing Baldur's Gate week here with Talvi the Bard again. I just wrote Bard on her collar like a brand. So, what are we doing in Procreate? What the heck? I thought this was a sketchbook challenge. Cheat! Sort of, but the cheat is so that I can get something that I like in the same kind of quick fashion without, my piece of art having to take more than a day or whatever. I honestly wanted to make this like a several part video, but I was like, that's too much of a cheat. So this is sped up quite a bit more than usual. I hope you can still see what I'm doing. I think it's literally like 800 or 1000%, which is absurd, but I think you can still see what I'm doing here. Art just takes time, and digital is even more time because you can noodle and you don't have to worry about it. So I noodle and I'm not sorry about it. So what I did was actually throw up the Procreate footage on the side there as well, which I can't keep up with that. Obviously, the Procreate only takes your brush strokes and nothing else. It doesn't, record you stopping to go get a glass of water or doing whatever or forgetting to film parts of it. So I put that there so you can see the full process. I did forget to film myself doing some things, but that's fine. So why are we in Procreate? Well, what I'm going to do after finishing this sketch is I'm going to lay a piece of, I'm going to try and lock the screen. It didn't work for this one, but it does work for tomorrow's video, which is spoiler alert, Asterion. Oh my god, love him. So what I'm doing is I'm going to lock the screen, which I'm now laying out my piece of paper here. I'm going to lock the screen with the settings in the accessibility settings in the iPad. I forget what they're called because it's something strange that doesn't seem intuitive to me. I'll put it up on screen when I remember it. So essentially what I'm doing is trying to lock the screen and then clipping my sheet of watercolor on and tracing. This works really well. You just have to crank up the brightness, lock the screen properly. So today I didn't get the settings right, so what happened was it kept shifting and I'm having to readjust the sketch underneath, which was awful. And here's me just cleaning up the sketch afterwards because there are a few things that you don't get perfectly right, obviously. So in that case, I can just reference my sketch, which is what I'm doing here. So, there's a couple settings in this accessibility thing that you have to actually go in and change because the default, it doesn't turn off like you being able to move things with your hands. I think it's because this is meant for, keeping children from doing certain things. So you want them to still be able to touch the iPad and use it, which is, not what artists want when they're trying to trace. So you gotta go in and turn off a few more things, which is what I didn't realize doing today's painting. So I figured it out, and tomorrow's process goes a lot better. So we'll get to that tomorrow. Here we are painting lovely little Talvi. She's so adorable. I love her little face. Her face changes a lot in the painting progress. It starts to look a little bit angrier. It's a little bit funny still afterwards. I think that I could have probably went a little darker on her skin value as well. Once I add in all the shading, I think she looks a bit pale in the cheek area and the forehead. So, that's something to remember for next time. And there can be many next times, which is what I love. I can just throw another sheet of watercolor paper over my sketch and do another one if I feel like it. This is such a cool process, and I love it. There's quite a few artists that have tutorials about that, so I'll link in the description if anyone's interested. Here's where she gets a little angry, I just went really hard on these eyebrows. Anyway, she still looks cute. I love her, and I haven't had a chance to get into the game at all this week. Things are pretty busy right now. Kind of sad about that. I usually kind of leave that for the weekend, which I think is fair. As much as we'd all love to play video games all day long, every day, there are other things to do in life. So, so this was a really fun process, like I said, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I love the freedom of being able to whip out the sketch again and trace over it again. So I'm definitely going to be doing this going forward for any, portraits where I want to get really into it, you know. I still like the idea of just quickly doodling and like painting it for fun. Yeah, I did that last night while I was waiting for Asterion to dry. I actually had a pretty rough time with that one, so that's going to be a fun video. We're going to get into some nitty-gritty of painting and the horrors of watercolor sometimes. But yeah, so while I was, you know, waiting for him to dry, I would like just go into another sketchbook and start like doodling, and I was playing with gouache, and oh, I like it. I like it. So I think we're gonna have a gouache week at some point as well, or at least a gouache moment where I try to do a portrait. It's gonna be terrifying. I also bought more watercolors yesterday and did a swatch video. So we have yet another swatch video coming up where I compare Turner with Winsor and Newton Cotman and a new brand that I'm looking at, which I'm actually stoked about because they are affordable and they're big tubes, so that is great. I'm very excited about that. And I think that is going to be it for today's video. I hope this process helped. Like I said, I'll link to the way that I did this, or the tutorial that I found in the description. 2 quick disclosures: if you found me through this challenge, I also do digital art, as well as I'm building a print shop business, so you will also see that kind of content on my channel, sprinkled in with some world building as well. Also, I will be returning to uploading once a week every Friday once this challenge is over. And if you are liking watching me bumble through watercolor in my sketchbook, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to follow along and tune in, maybe consider subscribing. And if you want to draw along, please do and let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any art supply tips or anything like that, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one tomorrow. Bye!